Yay! Another Hazbin Hotel video! So it's been a while since I've talked about Hazbin Hotel, specifically on this channel, and it's about time I do it again. I rewatched the show a second time since my last video, and while I will say there were some flaws with pacing I noticed more, I would still say Hazbin Hotel is still one of the best adult animated shows we've had in a while. And on top of that, the music is still as amazing as I remember it. Even though the internet is still a war zone about the show being good or not, everyone seems to pretty much agree that the songs are absolute fire. It's crazy how catchy and well written these things are. Well, some of them. However, since this is going to be a pretty long video, I thought I would include another YouTuber to help me in my breakdown and discussion of each song within Hazbin Hotel. His channel name is BoomerBase, and if you love discussions surrounding popular and small-scale animation, anime, or current blockbusters, he is the channel to check out. The link for his channel is in the description. If you could give him a sub after this video, that would be awesome.
Ben here from BoomerBase. Thank you very much for having me on the channel. I'm very much looking forward to giving you my opinions on my list for all the Hazbin Hotel songs.
Originally, we were going to do a combined list ranking of songs, but we quickly realized that wouldn't work since we have very different ideas for where songs should be ranked. So instead, this video is going to be an analysis of every song in chronological order, and then at the very end, we'll give our own personal rankings from worst to best. Keep in mind, these are our own list, and there might be, scratch that, there will be hot takes on both our lists. We're all humans and have our own opinions. But mine, of course, are correct, so accept mine or die. Happy Day in Hell is the perfect example of an introduction song to a musical. Not only does it perfectly display who Charlie is and her wants and motivations, but it also gives us a pretty excellent geography of hell and an excellent taste of the tone of the show. There's a whole section of the song where she sings about people living in hell, and we see how jacked up most of it is. There's a whole section dedicated to filming a neighborhood of roaring 20s cannibals. No matter how grotesque it is, Charlie's blissful optimism makes her not only endearing, but also makes the song funny at the same time. And upon rewatching, it reminds me of a happier Halloween town from Nightmare Before Christmas, only two-dimensional and red.
It's honestly a great start. For me, it falls a bit lower towards my list, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that I think that a lot of the other songs are just that much better. Erica Henningsen voices Charlie, and she has an absolutely beautiful and insane voice. Her voice just gives me goosebumps all the time. The Happy Day in Hell song for the series as a whole is a very good introduction. It's a very good sort of, this is Charlie's plan. She's very hopeful despite all the vulgar and crude things in hell. In this song, you know, it's great that we get to hear some of the other characters. The song itself has a very sort of Disney feel, as do a lot of the other songs, which for me is very awesome. Overall, it's a pretty decent song.
I agree with Ben on this. I don't think it's the absolute best song on the show, but if this is an example of what is mid-range, that just goes to show how excellent the musical composition is for this show. Hell is Forever is a villain song that mixes the threat of a villain with comedic overtones perfectly. Adam is delightfully hateable and is a perfect contrast to Charlie's happy persona. Not only is this obviously portrayed in their conflicting personalities and goals, but their musical styles as well. Charlie's music as established in Happy Day in Hell and the beginning of this song is very orchestral, optimistic, and traditional theater music, while Adam's is basically dude bro rock. She's in the middle of her chorus and he immediately cuts her off with his take on her goal. It's an amazing display of how to contrast the antagonist with the protagonist of the series in song form. Oh yeah, did I mention the song is catchy as too?
Hell is Forever was my favourite song for a very long time. The introduction of Adam and Lou, Adam's singing voice was absolutely incredible, and the first time of watching this I was like, damn, he sounds like the Broadway Beetlejuice person, and then I looked it up and it was Alex Brightman, and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. The song itself is very catchy. Charlie's even sort of quick talking singing is still really good, and still just, her voice is just beautiful. I can't say anything else more than that, and I'll probably repeat it about 10 million times through this video. Although we know of what's happened with Adam to a certain degree at the end of this series, I do wish Alex Brightman comes back, hopefully still as Adam, but if not as just a voice, because his singing voice is just top notch. This song was crazy catchy. I was singing this, you know, whilst cooking, in the shower, you name it. It's got a very catchy bit after he does the guitar solo yeah bit, you know, with the sort of clapping sort of bit that's very, very catchy. You know, the line "extermination is entertainment" is just it's so good. You know, it was such a short, sweet song, but so catchy, and it's one that I think will just be one of my favourite songs for Hazbin Hotel as a whole for a very long time.
This song is definitely one of the best of many earworms this show created. It's equally parts catchy, threatening, and hilarious. If you're going for a more lighthearted or comedic villain in a musical, by chance if you're making one, then this is a song you must study. Easily one of the best of the show. And this is just episode 1. Now on to episode 2.
Everybody knows who's in charge. Me. Right.
I've already talked about this song extensively in my Hazbin vs. Wish video, which I'm now mentioning for the 3rd time, but I don't care. You. This song is also not only one of the best in the series, but one of the best villain musical songs I've heard in over a decade. This song alone puts to shame anything Disney's done in the past several years. While Adam's song was much more comedic in its approach, this is definitely going for the more ominous traditional villain song style. Not to say there aren't some comedic elements to the song, especially when Alistair starts getting under Vox's skin, but once he's taken over Vox's broadcast, Alistair begins to show the full extent of his terrifying powers, ending the song on a very disturbing note, telling all of hell and to the audience that he is a demon not to be trifled with. Now, remember at the beginning of the video how I said me and Boomer Bass couldn't make a list because we had fundamentally different tastes? Well, this is a song where we differ heavily. I'll let him speak.
Stayed Gone, for me, the song isn't overly a vibe for me. Like, it's still catchy to a degree. None of the Hazbin Hotel songs for me are inherently bad. This will be a hot take and I apologise, but Alistair as a singing character, I just don't like. It's not for me at all. Like the V's, Valentino, Velvet and Vox, all very cool. We get to see them in the show for this song. Vox actually singing relatively alright. His singing voice is pretty decent, you know. I think they nail when Vox starts to kind of like buffer and lose signal. I think that's done very, very well, especially visually wise. You know, when we get to see Alistair turning into like near full or kind of full demon mode, that was very, very good, and I was all for that. It's just that I think they're going to be like the shadow villains of season 2, and I kind of hope they get done and dusted quite quickly, despite that maybe being a hot take. But for this one, for me, just it wasn't it.
This song, at least for me, scratched the part of my brain that has been begging for a great Disney-esque villain song, and this performs this task with flying colors.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
To be honest, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's a wholesome song with funny moments, like Vaggie and Angel Dust angelically singing about how they're wanting to kill Sir Pinchas. And actually hearing Pinchas singing was amusing, but it's alright, I guess. I guess my biggest problem with the song is that it doesn't do anything that creative, visually or musically. It's not the worst, but it's far from the best the show has to offer. Ben likes the song way more, so I'll let him speak on its defense.
This song I didn't overly like when I first watched this, but this song grew on me so much more as the show went on, from just listening to the songs and from rewatching the show a couple of times now. It's honestly one of my favourite songs now, and I'm pretty much just noticing a pattern that as long as Charlie is in it, she has such a magical voice that it just gives me goosebumps and automatically becomes a really good song in my head. You know, Sir Pinchas being voiced by Alex Brightman, who also voices Adam, is top notch. Honestly, this song is too short. It should be much longer, and we should have got a bigger sort of ballad belt bit with Charlie and Sir Pinchas. It's a nice bit. Charlie's being very humble to Sir Pinchas. She's giving him a second chance. Sir Pinchas is a very cool character, and he brings the Egg Boys, and who doesn't like the Egg Boys?
I agree that Pinchas ended up being one of the best characters of the show, and I do hope that we get something to show off his singing abilities in season 2. But as of right now, with just this song, I could have used a little more. Not bad, but again, far from one of my favorites.
I am a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Okay, some might have flipped out with Boomer Bass's take on Stayed Gone, but now it's my turn for a hot take. Respectless is one of my least favorites in the show. Yeah, this seems to be a huge hit with a lot of fans, and I just don't get the hype. I mean, sure, it's definitely catchy, but Other than that, this song is just so empty in terms of substance for me. I think the reason for this is because the two characters arguing within the song are probably the least interesting characters within the show. Velvet is by far and away the least interesting character of the V's, and Carmilla is just one of the least interesting of the heroes. Seriously, if she was a spice, she'd be flour. I don't care about her being an arms dealer, I don't care about her daughters, and I certainly don't care about her conflict with Velvet. It's cool they showed the dynamic of the overlords and how Velvet acts like she's better than everyone, but the thing is, I'm not threatened by her at all. She just acts like a spoiled brat arguing with an older authority figure. Maybe that's the goal of the song, but it's just not as compelling as the other conflicts in the show. All this song has is the catchiness factor. But if you take that away, it's a pretty bland experience in terms of plot progression and emotional stakes.
Now, Respectless is one of those odd ones. For me, it's sort of about mid of the table, but the more I do listen to it, the more I do actually start to like it. Daphne Rubin Vega as Camilla Carmine has an astounding voice. Although I dislike the V's, Velvet here is very, very strong as a character. Her voice is great as well. The bits I don't like is her using more of the updated 2024 jargon of Bay, swiping right and trending. I don't think it needed those at all, but as a song it's very, very cool. It progresses the plot. We get to learn that angels can be killed. We get to meet some of the other overlords. One of my gripes is just that we don't really understand properly the power levels of the V's. Like, to me, I think any one of those overlords to a certain degree would just crush Velvet, especially like Camilla, Zestial, Alistair and things. I think they could just certainly just kill Velvet or be done with her, but again, that's something that isn't about the songs, but it's more of a, I want to know the sort of strength that helps me understand the characters. It's still a very catchy song. It's, again, quite short. Some of the songs are quite short. I really do hope that we can get some longer songs in Season 2. I do think this could have been just like a big ballad song between both Camilla and Velvet, just utilising their voices more. I'm hoping Velvet gets a lot more singing parts in Season 2, but obviously we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that is one plus I'll give the song, and to every song in Hazbin Hotel. No one is falling short of vocal delivery. Every actor brings their A game. It's just something about this song falls flat every time I listen to it. Sorry, Velvet, but I ain't swiping right on this song. I'm so sorry I did that. I'm sorry.
Wake me up! I can't wake up!
Whatever It Takes is probably the most frustrating song in Hazbin Hotel for me. On the one hand, the vocals and melody are gorgeous, and I think the part of the song that revolves around Vaggy's insecurities as a partner for Charlie is really strong. The problem comes when Camilla sings. Her voice is amazing, don't get me wrong. It's just her character and conflict is once again nowhere near as compelling as the one surrounding her. They try to make a thematic connection between them, with both willing to protect the ones they love by any means, whatever it takes, if you will. But, it's just kind of weak. Also, the way Camilla enunciates some of the words makes me cringe.
Thing attacked, I had to act.
When that thing attacked, I had to act. I bet that's proper technique or some shit, but I don't care. It sounds weird as f. Also, the song in terms of the visual direction feels very underwhelming. Like, the first time we hear the music drop into the chorus, it should be a powerful moment. Maybe they play around with the environment. Maybe they change the lighting. What do? They have her lean on a window. Yeah, real powerful stuff. Even when Vaggy gets the spotlight, they do some cool stuff with the moon, but again, just
For me, Whatever It Takes is a song that started off very well, but it falls to the lower sort of tier for me. As for me, Vaggy ruins this song. Might be a hot take, I don't really know, but for me, she ruins it. Her singing voice sucks to me, you know, especially seeing as I've watched and heard her in Encanto and in The Heights and things. Her voice in those, much, much better, much clearer, less strained and things. Like, her singing soft voice, alright. I'd prefer if it wasn't that, but when she starts to hit those higher belts and things, she just sounds like she's straining so much and it sounds too, like, chalkboardy, you know, screechy. But without Vaggy, just Camilla Carmine, this could have been a great song just for her as a whole, you know, showing that she is the one that protected Zestial, her children and things, against the angel, and, you know, it's a big pivotal turning point for the show with just angels can be killed, learning how they can be killed and whatnot, but for me, just Vaggie ruins this song, and if it wasn't for Vaggie, this song would be so much higher, as Daphne Rubin Vega's voice is absolutely incredible in this, and it's just unfortunate.
Whoo boy, another hot take from Ben. At least for me, I will say I like the plot line of discovering that an angel can be killed, but talking about killing an angel in secret doesn't sound like something that should be included in an epic love ballad-esque song. It feels like they took two different conceptual songs and shoved them together and hoped for the best. The song gives off a 90s rock ballad vibe, which I am all here for, but again, it's just that section with Camilla that brings it down for me. There's just a little too much fat on this otherwise perfectly fine steak.
It is odorless, tasteless, dissolves instantly in liquid, and is among the more deadly poisons known to man.
So usually I'm not a fan of pop-sounding songs and musicals. Given how much I ripped into Respectless, and spoiler alert, welcome to heaven, stay tuned. However, in Poison, not only is the pop style fitting for the character of Angel Dust, but the music itself is so brilliantly composed. Here we go again with another S-tier song from the show. Poison, my word, it's haunting, it's disturbing, and it's outright tragic. Unlike the other techno-pop songs in the show, there's such a different vibe with just the music alone. Like, disregard the lyrics and visuals. Just listen to the beat and the music. It's very flashy and perfectly encapsulates the fast party adrenaline life, but at its core, there's just something off about the whole thing. It brilliantly portrays the mindset Angel Dust is in working in the sex industry. He's constantly engaging himself willingly, but most of the time unwillingly in sex, drugs, partying, etc. But we can tell that this just makes him more and more empty on the inside. It's like drinking bleach. We all know it tastes good, but we know it's bad for you. This is a joke, please do not consume bleach. Also, the montage of him experiencing his daily life is, at least for me, not only one of the saddest moments of the show, but also one of the most disturbing.
Poison is one of the, if not the most powerful song, and has one of the most powerful episodes in Hazbin Hotel, and this song always continues to grow for me every time I watch it and listen to it with its meaning and things. Angel Dust certainly needed his own song in this show, and this song was it. It's no wonder that this song is one of the most, if not the most popular song for Hazbin Hotel. Everything that Angel Dust needed for a song was done in this down to a T. Obviously, I don't want to talk too much about the actual, critical aspects of this, just because I'm not familiar with it. I don't want to say the wrong thing. One of the horrifying aspects about Valentino, him as a character, isn't just this scary made-up demon drawing. People like Valentino are real that do trafficking. Is a horrible thing, and it's very, very real and raw, and probably there are many people, unfortunately, that sympathized with Angel Dust, which is why it is such an important and powerful song. But this song as a whole, despite any of those aspects, from a singing perspective, is great. Angel Dust sort of, when he sings his O's bit, they're so powerful and raw. Visually, during the BDSM scene, you could see how out of breath and worn out he was due to that all-nighter and things, and just, it was a very, very powerful piece of media, and Angel Dust's voice just fit it to a T, and I was very happy and impressed with this song.
A common critique that I've heard is that some people are saying this song glamorizes his lifestyle working in the sex industry. And I'm sorry, but if you think this is glorifying that life in any way, you have clearly not watched the show, or you're just not paying close attention. It's an absolutely haunting exploration of the people in that position. It could almost come off as exploitative with the more dance-style music, but that's the point. Angel Dust is trying to cope with what his life has become, trying to portray it as upbeat, off the rails, and awesome, but in reality it's dark, oppressive, and soul-crushing. It's all in the subtext and smaller details. This song is nothing short of a masterpiece.
We're not so different, you and I.
So for the first 3, or heck, even first 4 episodes if you want to count the YouTube pilot, I was very intrigued by the show. I was fascinated by the world the show inhabits. Alistair is perfect, and I liked the general tone and vibe they were going for. Story stuff was happening, but I will say I was waiting for that emotional hook to really sink in. With this episode, the stuff revolving around Valentino and Angel Dust was really dark and depressing. It had me invested, but I was curious to see where it went. Then Angel Dust has his emotional breakdown with Husker, and they share a heart-to-heart. This is the first time in the show where I felt the pacing slowed way down, and we were able to just share a small moment with these two characters. And when Husker begins to sing about how Angel's life is messed up, I was like, wait, are they gonna do what I think they're gonna do? And then the song switches into show tune jazz, and Husker jokingly calls Angel Dust a loser, a f***ed up little whiny just like him. That's the moment I knew this show was special, and I finally understood what it was going for. My word, I adore this song. This could have easily gone the wrong way, or just not worked, but they took a risk, and man did it pay off. First of all, Keith Davis' singing voice sounds the way salted caramel tastes. Smooth, sweet, and just the right hint of savory. I could listen to it all day. Secondly, the connection they made with these two characters instantly made them on par with Alistair, who in my opinion stole my attention right out of the gate. But yeah, now these two can compete with him easily. In terms of animation and visuals, not much happens, but the song doesn't need all that. In fact, it's better that it doesn't. Since it's smaller in scale, it's appropriate not to go crazy on the visuals. This is a bonding moment between these two characters, and the attention should be on them and them alone.
Loser Baby is to be like an old record, is once again a song where the more I listen to it, the more it just certainly grows on me. Keith David's voice is so unique and it's so warming, and I honestly never thought I'd really hear him sing, as I've seen him in some other shows and movies and things, and I just never thought I would see him in a singing part at all, let alone a role like this. I love that this had a lot of singing in the rain sort of vibes, and I was all here for it. You know, I expected them to do a full-on tap dance sequence, and you know, this as a song and a part of the series was such a great turning point for Angel Dust and Husk. Angel Dust's higher range singing was really cool as well. You know, one of the more important aspects of this song is that, you know, Husk allows himself to be vulnerable with Angel Dust. That's why we get to see why he's been so frustrated with him, because Husk sees himself in Angel Dust. He relates to him. He wants to let Angel Dust know that he's not alone with this. They have to make the best out of a bad situation. When it comes to dancing with Angel Dust, he kind of holds his hand out. You know, he waits for consent. He doesn't abuse him like Valentino does. You know, in the dancing bit in Poison, Valentino drags Angel Dust along and things, but in this, you know, it slowly becomes like Husk is basically guiding Angel Dust, and then towards the end sort of bit, they're dancing in unison in sync, and Angel Dust is actually just dancing by himself for himself in a way, and it's just a very cute song, and I can't wait to see their relationship blossom, whether it turns to a romantic one or not. I'm here for their relationship as a whole.
So while I think Husker and Angel have one of the most compelling relationships in the show, I do slightly differ from fans who ship them romantically. I know it's canon that Husker is like pansexual and Angel is, well, clearly gay, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I always viewed them more as a tough love friendship, one where they have a deep connection, but there's nothing sexual to it. Again, I can see why some fans want this, but I think it would be more wholesome and special if they remained platonic. Overall though, Loser Baby is a perfect balance of dark humor and wholesome optimism. No other song in the show to me better encapsulates the point of Hazbin Hotel better than this.
No, I'm Buzz Lightyear. I am Buzz Lightyear. I'm Buzz Lightyear.
So, who's the real Buzz?
I am.
If Loser Baby encapsulates the message of Hazbin Hotel in a song, then Hell's Greatest Dad encapsulates the pure, raw energy and tone of the show. It is visually and musically bonkers, and it's all the better for it. This is easily not only the funniest song in Hazbin Hotel so far, but it's also easily one of the best. Not only is this song extremely catchy with its electro swing style, but the feud that brews between Lucifer and Alistair is an absolute blast to watch. Just seeing their faces and actions becoming more unhinged and over the top as the song progresses fills me with a particular joy I never knew I needed. My absolute favorite part of the song is when Alistair buds in and begins telling Charlie about the bond they have, how she's like the daughter he never had, and then he says this while looking at Lucifer.
It's a little funny. You could almost call me Dad.
The slow head turn, the facial expressions. This is not just cinema. This is art. Now time for another hot take.
For me, this again is a lower one on the sort of list as a whole. It features Alistair singing, so it's not going to be too high for me. We obviously get introduced to Lucifer. Jeremy Jordan's voice is top quality and I love it, but again, just Alistair singing, it's not a vibe for me. For me, it literally ruins it. I do enjoy that it's a sort of bash between Alistair and Lucifer as a song. I do like that they kind of, when Alistair's had his singing bit and he sort of is saying, you know, like, you're the daughter I never, you know, like I spawned and things, and then like Lucifer responds with, you know, just start playing the violin passive aggressively, and then they have this sort of weird like musical off and things. You know, I find that bit cool, and it's good visually for the series as a whole. And, you know, I do like that Alistair is trying to weirdly piss off the devil to a degree. Like, that's, you know, it's a lot of guts. It's quite cool and quite like Alistair as a character as a whole. The Mimsy bit, like her coming is just, it's funny, but it's also just like, Mimsy is just such a annoying character that I just don't like her. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. It's a semi-fun song. It's a fun song visually to watch, but in terms of like just listening audio-wise for me, it's not amazing. But again, when I say not amazing in respect to Hazbin Hotel songs, none of them are inherently bad. It's just if I have to critique them and put them in a list, this one falls a fair bit lower on the list, unfortunately.
I will agree. Unfortunately, my least favorite part of the song is when Mimsy comes in. I get how she's supposed to be an annoying fat bitch who causes problems for everyone, but every time I listen to the song, I've been known to just click next when her segment comes up. That is the one bad thing I will say in an otherwise flawless song for me. As I said earlier, I think this song encapsulates the pure manic energy of the show perfectly, and I also love the bitter rivalry between Alistair and Lucifer. It's the one time in the show that we've seen up to this point where Alistair is in a vulnerable place. It makes me wonder why he's so hostile towards Lucifer. Does he have a connection with him in some way that will be revealed in later seasons? I don't know. Gosh darn it, I love Alistair's character. And gosh darn it, this song is amazing.
Why are you crying?
It's a rare feat for a show or movie to make me cry. It's especially a rare feat for a song to make me cry. And it's damn near impossible for me to cry just by the singer's voice alone. But somehow, I shed a tear hearing Lucifer and Charlie sing together. This song is beautiful. Getting to see more of the backstory between Charlie and her dad was heartbreaking to see, but it's all the more rewarding when Charlie decides to forgive her father and give him a second chance because he wants to make things right and support her dreams more than anything. I know Ben really adores the song, so I'll give him the floor.
Honestly, I guess this is a spoiler, but this is just undoubtedly my favourite song. I can't fault this one whatsoever. I love the meaning, I love the reuniting and understanding between Lucifer and Charlie. It's got such a great Disney vibe as a song. I love literally singing along to it. Jeremy Jordan and Erica have such great voices that meld together. You know, the line, "I'm grateful you're my daughter/father," it hits so hard. This was the first time, to my memory, I might have got some tears in my eyes a little bit, but this was the first time I like cried watching Hazbin Hotel. It was just so sad and nice and things, you know. I was never expecting a broken Lucifer that had lost all hope, you know. I can only imagine what Lilith did or manipulated or whatnot. I have no idea, but obviously we'll find that out. But how sad Lucifer was when Lilith took Charlie away, and watching how sad Charlie was when she was taken away, it was just heartbreaking, you know. It was so meaningful. Like, I watched the song again before like recording and talking about it, and just it makes me feel upset and things, but it's just such a beautiful song. Again, sorry that you now know what my number one is, but this is my number one song.
For me, the moment the waterworks finally broke free was in the final section of the song where they say, "I'm grateful you're my daughter/father more than anything." Unironically angelic. If the last episode established an emotional heart at the core of the show, then this episode... I don't know where I was going with this metaphor. This just gives it another heart, I guess. This song, like so many here, is another series highlight. Wow, we've had a continuous streak of amazing songs. Some funny, catchy, heartbreaking, and emotional powerhouses. I hope we can continue this streak of one amazing song after the other. What's up next on the list? Oh,
There's a good place and there's a bad place. You're in the good place.
yeah, spoiler alert, this is by far the worst song in Hazbin Hotel for me. And I have a feeling the writers know this as well, because besides one other song that we'll get to later, this is the shortest song by a long shot, just coming in at 1 minute. This is a painfully bland and by-the-numbers pop song. I listened to the soundtrack several times, and it still took me like 6 times for me to remember the melody of this song. it's that forgettable. It just establishes heaven as this place that's cool, and that's about it. The only memorable part of the song is how Peter sings some lines, but it's not good. It's like he's doing a moaning whine. I'm sorry, but what the fuck was that?
Now, I bet you can't guess what I'm going to say. This song has become one of my favourite songs. I think it's one of the most underrated songs, and I wish it was a full song. You know, Darren Criss, it took me a while to even realise it was his voice. You know, he's the guy that plays Blaine in Glee. He's also been the voice of Superman a fair bit over these last few years for the animated movies and things. It was such a good song, and getting introduced to the Angels was always a very positive thing. Emily has such a cute voice as well. I think Welcome to Heaven falls quite low on the list for a lot of people, or just gets missed or overlooked, but it's got some very, very great singing. It's such a rich and raw song for Darren Criss to voice, and I think they couldn't have picked a better voice to be St. Peter at all as well.
Yeah. Gonna have to disagree with Ben on this one. This song is just too boring for me to ever return to. This is the one and only D tier song in the show for me.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
This must have been the most complex and challenging song to write for the series. At least for me it would have. This is due mostly to the amount of story progression that happens within the space of 3 minutes. While I would say they try to put too many important plot points in here, they managed to pull it off pretty great with excellent vocal performances, complex musical progression, and brilliant visual storytelling. I love how the character Emily slowly converts to the side of Charlie as the song goes along. In the beginning, she's by Sarah's side, but as she slowly questions and unravels what Heaven's been doing, she makes her way down to Charlie. Sarah, seeing how she's losing Emily, goes down to her level, trying to say she did it out of protection, but all Emily can see is the flames in her eyes, seeing her soul as nothing but a corrupt entity. Then she joins Charlie in using Adam's Hell is Forever melody against the Angels, pointing out their hypocrisy. This is just amazing storytelling through music and visuals.
Now, You Didn't Know is probably the song that I have had on repeat the most. It has everything that I could want. Adam and Luke singing, Charlie singing, and then we get Emily as a new great voice that melds with Charlie, and it has the best ending of a song in Hazbin Hotel. Now, obviously, Luke getting to sing for the first time was great, and I've seen so many sort of TikTok, Instagram reels, you name it, of just that bit of Adam and Luke singing. It's a great piece for it. I love what this scene does for the series as a whole. Emily, straight from the bat, is already on the side of the sinners before even learning about the extermination. That just shows how great and pure-hearted she was. You know, I love the fact that when she says, "Was I too naive to expect you to heed the morals you're purveying?" It's pretty much a cold and super blunt way and polite way of saying, "My fault, I didn't realise you were such a When we get to see Sarah over the sort of fire orb thing with the fire in her eyes, that's visually a great looking sort of scene as a whole. Emily and Charlie singing, oh my god, hands down, incredible. Give them a big ballad, belting, powerful song, and oh, the world will rejoice.
Well, you're not talking about justice, you're talking about revenge.
Sometimes they're the same.
No, they're never the same.
As I've already said, the Camilla plotline was one of my least favorites from the show, and her songs didn't help her cause. However, Out for Love works for me. It's a good message about how what's motivating you in your quest for vengeance is as important as your skills and abilities. As long as it's for the defense of those you love, rather than the hatred of the aggressor, only then can you stand a chance. Also, the song has that Spanish flair to it with the guitar, and it makes the song much more impactful for me as opposed to Respectless, where I feel like it wasn't utilized as well.
Once again, I'm going to be a broken record and say that this song should have been longer. Daphne Rubin Vega has such an incredible voice. She needs more songs somehow in season 2. This is what Whatever It Takes should have been. I'm so happy that Vaggie didn't sing in this song. Again, sorry if this is something you don't want to hear. I just don't think Vaggie's singing voice is very good. But, you know, I love that, you know, pretty much prior to this, it's, you know, Carmella's just like, well, you're an angel. And she's just like, Vaggie's like, what? And she's just like, well, you got a fucking X across your face, mate, and you've got an angelic weapon. You know, it's not rocket science. She's such a mood, Camilla, and I love that how she wasn't a demon or an angel. She was just a mother protecting her kids and things, and it's so wholesome to see.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this one. The animation and fight choreography is pretty cool. That's kind of it. Pretty good song.
But tonight, we dine in hell!
I don't don't know about you, but I for one adore Ready for This. Probably way more than most Hazbin Hotel fans. I think a big reason as to why I love this song is because it involves Cannibal Town. Seriously, if I was banished to hell, I certainly hope I'd end up a member of Cannibal Town. It's just such an aesthetically pleasing place with the Roaring Twenty vibe, and everyone has a transatlantic accent. What's not to love? Also, their inherent cannibalistic nature adds great humor to what is otherwise a rally cry song. Charlie, I think in this song, finally accepts the flaw she has had this season in thinking everyone is out to do the right thing, or at the very least, everyone wants the same thing. Because they don't. Not everyone has the same values as you, and there are those who unfortunately do cruel things just because they can. It's a lesson I think many people should understand in our world, but unfortunately don't because they're so caught up in their own self-righteous belief systems, like Charlie was. Her growing into a more mature person and realizing pure evil can't be reasoned with was a great arc for her, and this song perfectly shows her growing into the leader she was always meant to be. Also, is it just me, or does this song aesthetically remind anyone else of Welcome to the Black Parade? See? Just add red and bam, Hazbin Hotel.
This song as a whole took me by surprise. I really love Charlie in this, as we already know. I love her singing voice. I like that the song builds a lot, and it honestly makes me feel like I can do more. It gives me a lot of goosebumps. It's a very uplifting song, especially when it goes towards like where the whole crowd is singing at the end. It's very fulfilling. I like that as soon as Alistair mentions about food, all the cannibals are like, haha, we can do this, you know, we're here for you, you know. I'm a big fan of how the cannibals look as a whole. I like their sort of like black deep eyes, and they kind of all similarly look the same, but I like that they kind of all meld well together. I like that Alistair trusted Charlie with his cane, and I like that he doesn't hide his sort of true intentions. He's obviously using Charlie, but you know, he still values Charlie as a person, and because of her strength and things and her motivation for sort of gathering and garnering people. Overall, a song that really took me by surprise, and I wasn't expecting to be like that uplifted by it in a way.
Ready for This is a song I feel is definitely one of the most overlooked songs of the season. It has great harmonies, great plot progression with Charlie becoming a leader, and gives us just a hint of Alistair's intentions with her. Overall, it's a fantastic song that I am more than willing to play on repeat.
Ha! Gay!
Honestly, there's not too much to say about this song. It's nothing that crazy, but it's a nice little wholesome moment between Charlie and Vaggie. I like how Charlie sings more than anything, but with the two most important people in her life, her dad and her partner. It's really sweet and makes me hopeful that Hollywood will finally start portraying LGBTQ characters as actual characters rather than a token point to sell their entire movie or show on.
This song, again, really impressed me. Unfortunately, it's quite low on the scale as a whole, but if this was a full song and Vaggie sung like this throughout and in the way I want, where she didn't strain, this could be one of my favourite songs. Like, this was just such a nice soft song and so warming, just bringing them back together. The line, "If it's only me you saved," was it was, I wanted to cry. It was so sad, but so sweet and nice. It's so short, and that's something I wish they would just either release separately full songs of these, or just have longer songs in the show. It would make my life a lot more complete.
It's a nice little reprise that doesn't overstay its welcome, at least for me. I don't mind the shorter length. I think it's not crazy memorable, but it's a nice little addition. The finale, or The Show Must Go On, is actually quite brilliant in its execution. It's essentially a reprise of the first song of the show, Happy Day in Hell. However, in that song, Charlie is in a much more naive and individualist headscape, believing she is the one that will save hell. She alone can do this. Not only does she accept in the song Ready for This that not everyone has the same beliefs as her, but in this she comes to accept that she has her friends and family to help her in her dreams. She doesn't have to go at this alone. Also, being one of the longer songs, it gives plenty of room for interesting musical direction. From Charlie's somber state, mourning Sir Pinchas' sacrifice, her dad lifting her up, them building a new hotel, it flows so effortlessly. But we also have several setups for next season. The V's are in the background, scheming their takeover of hell. That's fun stuff. And then we get Alistair's section. If there's one singular reason to continue this show into season 2, it's for understanding the mystery surrounding Alistair. Throughout the entire show, he is a charismatic and ominous threat over everyone around him. This song, and the way his fight went with Adam, shows us at his most vulnerable state yet. We can clearly see something or someone has him tied down because of the deal he made. He's trying to smile throughout the whole song. Even in private, he wants to maintain the semblance of someone in control, though it's clear he's losing it. It adds so much fascinating intrigue to an already entertaining character. Now, I'm not the first person to say this online, but the day Alistair frowns will be the most terrifying moment in television history.
This is the song that I have obviously listened to the least, as I've only watched Hazbin like 2/3 times, and I've only listened to the finale maybe once or twice outside of the show. From listening to it just before recording this segment, I think this actually could be one of my more favourite songs despite where it is on this list currently. I was so sad after Serpentius dying that I think that kind of entails why this song is a bit lower than it maybe should be. I didn't expect this song to uplift me a lot. Anything with Charlie and Lucifer singing for me is pretty much A tier, and I managed to be sort of inspired and, you know, despite being so defeated and things after the sort of fight with over. Honestly, I just want the V's to be defeated so badly and to be done with them. You know, I'm not a fan of them, sorry. Although they're singing, the Vox and Valentino singing bit was pretty cool, to be fair. It would have been nice if Valentino, while singing with Vox, if we've got Velvet singing as well. I think that was a missed opportunity. And I certainly think that when Lucifer says the stage is wrecked, the crowd is gone, but by God, Charlie, the show must go on, was such an inspiring line for her. Like, just even watching it again, it filled tears in my eyes. Alistair's bit in this song is probably the one that I mind the least. We get to kind of think, it seems that he has some deal where he's also shackled and things, and that makes a lot more intrigue for me than his other songs where he has sung. Overall, just loved all the songs, top to bottom. I was very surprised by this show. I really didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I have, to the point where I'm just still listening to the songs each day.
This song perfectly concludes season 1, leaving the characters and story to unfold in interesting ways for many seasons to come. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. As I mentioned in the beginning, me and Ben decided to make our own separate lists because we had very different tastes. So he's going to read off his list first, and then I'll do mine.
Coming in at number 16 for me was Stayed Gone. It was my least favourite song as a whole. Coming in at number 15 for me was Happy Day in Hell. Coming in at number 14 was Hell's Greatest Dad. Number 13 was Whatever It Takes. Number 12 was More Than Anything, Reprise. Coming in at number 11 is The Show Must Go On, or the finale song. Coming in at number 10 was Out for Love. Coming in at number 9 was Respectless. Coming in at number 8 was Loser Baby. Coming in at number 7 was Ready for This. Number 6 was Poison. Coming in at number 5 is Welcome to Heaven. Coming in at number 4 is Hell is Forever. Third place, the bronze title for me, is It Starts With Sorry. Coming in at number 2 for the silver medal for me is You Didn't Know. And for the top spot, the gold place, is More Than Anything. I honestly have no idea how my list sort of compares to not only Michael the Cinephiles, but others as a whole. I think maybe mine is quite a weird, unique list. But overall, this is my opinion and things, and anyone's choice is absolutely fine. All the songs are good in their own right.
Now time for my ranking. Number 16, aka last place, goes to Welcome to Heaven. Again, for me, it is very bland with questionable vocal deliveries, D tier. Number 15 goes to Respectless, a song about two uninteresting characters arguing about mildly intriguing things. Nah. Pass. Number 14, It Starts With Sorry. It's not terrible. It has some slightly funny and wholesome moments, just not that memorable. Number 13, Whatever It Takes. To be honest, if it wasn't for Camilla's part, this would probably be a lot higher. Number 12, More Than Anything Reprise. A sweet short little song that's pretty wholesome. Number 11, Out for Love. Definitely the best of Camilla's songs. 10, You Didn't Know. Looking at this, it seems pretty low, but this is a strong A-tier song for me. The fact that it's so low just goes to show how many great songs there are. Number 9, Happy Day in Hell. A perfect introduction song to Charlie, the world of Hell, and the series as a whole. Number 8, finale. Just like Happy Day in Hell, the song perfectly concludes season 1 with amazing setups for season 2. Number 7, Ready for This. A great battle speech song for the show that's as catchy as it is inspirational. Number 6, Hell is Forever. A great song showcasing the main antagonist, the perfect example of a character you love to hate but also hate to love. Number 5, Poison. Emotional, haunting, and creative. This will definitely leave a mark on anyone long after the credits roll. Number 4, Stayed Gone. The best Disney villain song since Friends on the Other Side. And now for the top 3. Number 3, More Than Anything. This is such a powerful song about the relationship between a father and daughter. If you don't at least get a little misty-eyed, I'm convinced you don't have a soul. Number 2, Hell's Greatest Dad. The funniest and one of the catchiest songs of the entire show. The conflict between Alistair and Lucifer will go down in legends. And now, my favorite song in Hazbin Hotel. The number 1 spot goes to Loser, Baby. Could it really go to anything else? Probably. But this is still my favorite. Everything, and I mean everything, works in this song. The vocals, the lyrics, the animation, the message, everything is done perfectly to me. It's the moment I 100% was on board with this zany, darkly comedic, wholesome little show, and I can't wait to see more songs like this. Well, that's it. Those are our rankings for every song in Hazbin Hotel. If you agree, disagree, or have your own thoughts and rankings of the songs, please put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear your takes on this show.
Just want to say a quick thank you for having me here. Check out some of my videos and things. I've got some Hazbin Hotel. I talk about films and anime and whatnot. I obviously want to do more videos with Michael the Cinephile here, and I look forward to doing so. Thank you very much for having me.
Again, if you guys could check out Boomer Bass's channel and give him a sub, that would be awesome. He covers so much animation and anime, and I feel like you guys would really like what he covers. Alright, well, I don't really know how to end this, so I guess bye.